Hello and welcome to my fishing leveling guide. In this guide we're going to be taking a look at the best spots for leveling your fishing profession. But anyways, all the spots and level ranges are linked down below using timestamps. Let's get started. For level 1 we have this pond right next to the Emerald Trail outside of Ragni. There's a lot of Guardian here, and there's only a few mobs, but those are only weak level 1 zombies, so they're not too much to deal with. Moving on to level 10, we have the Nivla to Deathless sort of crossing here. You can see the bridge right down there. Right along this edge here, there's quite a bit of trout. There is quite a bit of space in between, but the only mobs that you'll encounter are the mobs right next to the bridge, so you can actually run this loop without encountering them, but there's also trout on the other side of the bridge as well. Moving on to level 20, we have this salmon spot right behind the Saints Row Church of, or Cathedral of Nemract. There's a lot of salmon here. You do have to swim a bit and jump on some lily pads, but the only mob that does spawn here is a rare mob that on occasion can spawn sort of out of the Saints Row graveyard. But other than that, this is a really calm spot and it's super close to Nemract for when you need to repair. For level 30, we have this carp spot at the mountain, sort of where the origin of the desert river is. Up here, there's no mobs whatsoever. There's also sort of 2 layers to this spot, and you can easily loop it by jumping on these lily pads, and Almouche isn't too far away for when you need to repair your tools. For level 40, we have this little lake, part of the first Nodgui Island. If you've done the level 40 quest, you can take a sea skipper from Nemract to get here, but there's both a bank and a blacksmith on these sort of ice islands, so you're not far away from repairs or scrolls or anything that you might need. For level 50, we have this spot here with a waterfall right next to the Iboju village over in the Troms jungle. Now there's a bit of piranhas here, yeah, there's not too many mobs. Some mobs and slimes and stuff can spawn on the road and sort of pathfind up to you sometimes, but there shouldn't be too many mobs, and it's right next to a spawn point anyways, and it's not too far away from Troms for when you need to repair as well. There is, however, an alternative spot for level 50 if you have done the Wormholes quest. Then you have access to the Forgotten Burrows XP or Prof cave here that will grant you an additional 50% XP bonus when you farm in here. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of nodes, and the only sort of issue would be having to go to Olux to repair, because that could be a little bit to go. Moving on to level 60, we have this willow pond right underneath a huge willow tree over in the dark forest. Next to the Memory Paranoia mansion, we have this huge sort of pond here with a lot of koi. Now there are a few mobs that spawn in here. Some of them are ranged, but most of them aren't ranged. And so they can be a bit annoying, but out of the koi spots, this is sort of the least annoying one with the most amount of nodes, and it's also very loopable. And it's quite close to Gellyboard for when you need to repair. Next up, for level 70, we have the Gilia Lake here. Sort of in this corner, we have a lot of Gilia fish, and it's quite loopable with by jumping sort of on the lily pads in the lake. And mob-wise, there's only sort of one rare mob that spawns. Other than that, you have these passive mermaids, or so they will only attack you if you attack them back, so you should be fine. For level 80, we have the Relos Coast, sort of at the southern end of Corcus. We have this long strip of beach here with a lot of bass. And mob-wise, there's only a couple robots that spawn on the road, and they can sometimes aggro and fall you down, but it's usually 1 to 2 mobs, so it's not too much. And it's also very close to Relos that does have its own blacksmith for when you need to repair. For level 90, we have this lake on the upper section of the Molten Heights. And as you can see, there's a lot of nodes here, and with these boulders in the lava, you can jump around and you can easily loop it. And I think there's around 20 to 30 nodes just on the sort of boulder section. So there's a lot, and there's sort of a direct path down to Roadrock using a cave, so you can easily access it for repairs. There is, however, an alternative spot, which is a resource mine of Maix, which you'll unlock if you've done Dwarfs and Dogons Part 1. Here you'll be able to find a lot of Molten Eel, and it will grant you a 50% XP bonus when you're in the cave. For level 100, we have this sort of pond right next, or sort of on the lower section next to Candon Beta. It's very close, so when you need to repair, it's not too far. Mob wise, there are a few sheep that spawn, but usually they don't aggro too much. It can be 1 to 2 mobs every now and then that will aggro, and it's very loopable, as you can see, with all these lily pads. And yeah. But there is, however, an alternative spot for starfish, and it's over in the Sky Falls, and this spot is very loopable. Mob wise, there's not really any mobs. Sometimes if you approach it from the top, you can sort of drag a few mobs through the hole in the roof, but other than that, there are no mobs in here. But it is, however, a bit further away from Amsor than the previous spot was to Candon Beta. Lastly, for level 110, we have this Dernic sort of upper fishing spot here with a lot of Dernic fish. It's quite loopable, and as you can see, there's a lot of nodes. Mob wise, there's one mob that spawns sort of on this spot that you have to deal with. There are like 2 other Cantier mobs that spawn in the distance, but they're too far away to sort of actively aggro on you when you're proffing. So you only have to deal with one mob that rarely respawns. And that was it for the leveling guide on fishing. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and a comment down below. Subscribe if you want to. But anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.